So, what does cognitive decline feel like with schizophrenia? It's very hard for me to put it into words because very few people actually suffer from a schizophrenic illness. So, it's very hard for them to understand, even when I feel that I'm explaining myself clearly. But if I could try to put into words, the best way is that I just feel my brain doesn't fire sometimes. Like I can't think clearly. I can't spontaneously produce thoughts. If I'm having conversations with people, I'll sort of lose track where the conversation is going. It actually becomes hard for me to speak. It's like I lose my verbal communication skills because my brain is not producing the thoughts that I need to effectively communicate with people. Other examples, when I'm reading a book, sometimes I literally can't understand the words. I reread multiple times, and it's like my brain is just not intellectually absorbing and understanding those things. Now, another severe cognitive issue of schizophrenia is sort of it's called anhedonia, and it's really just the loss of your emotion and your motivation, where you just feel emotionally numb and empty. You have no willpower, no desire, no motivation to be productive, to accomplish things. You just kind of feel like you're dead. And this is different than depression, because when you're depressed, you actually feel a lot of pain and sadness and have suicidal thoughts. But the anhedonia, it is more like you feel nothing at all. Like you're not happy, you're not sad, you're just completely flat all the time. So what this causes is that even if I am intellectually functioning, for example, like I said, when I'm reading, sometimes I can read and I can understand what I'm reading, but I have no interest. I have no emotional response. These things, they don't speak to me or cause me to feel any emotion. And I guess one good example would be if you remember when you're in school and the teacher assigns you to read some boring textbook and you read it and you're like, this is just the most horrible, boring thing I've ever read. I don't care about it. Then you compare that to reading your favorite book or watching your favorite movie and you're interested, you're captivated, you feel emotions, you're emotionally connected. So that's kind of what it's like. Sometimes I can intellectually function, I can think, I can even be intelligent, but I just have no emotional response at all. So the problem is with schizophrenia, a lot of times these symptoms all happen at once. When you go in an episode, it's usually not just one or two symptoms. It's usually a large variety of the symptoms hitting you at once. The paranoia, the psychosis, the cognitive issues, the depression, all of those things can happen at once. So they all kind of compound and pile on you until you just mentally can't function at all because you have these cognitive issues. You also have psychotic delusions or hallucinations, and you also have depression that can make you suicidal to the point that you can't think, you can't function. It's hard for you to do basic tasks because your brain is not thinking, it's not firing, and you're emotionally debilitated with depression or suicidal ideations. So it's really the cognitive decline can be one of the worst symptoms, but when it gets combined with all the others, that's when it gets bad.